Hey guys, I'm Titan and welcome to this 13th episode of my Cities Skylines project Vedastein, in which we try to build a realistic German city. Now, as you may have noticed, we start this episode without a live part, and the reason for that is some serious time problems I had during the production of this episode, which you may also notice because today is Saturday, not Friday. And reason for all those time problems is that I still actually want to focus more on the old town of our city and starting the old town with the city park, but for that I need some buildings which I'm still building or which I'm still creating. And so I have all these gap filler episodes. So this one, the hospital one, so the last one, and the one before that are just filler episodes until the houses I need are finished. But nevertheless, I think they turned out pretty good, and according to the amount of feedback I got from you, you also quite like those episodes. Now, what I have to say in the beginning of this episode is a huge and a really huge thank you so much to, well, all of you. Because when I was in Amsterdam, I hit the 1000 subscriber mark on my channel, which is, and I don't know, it's a number that it's amazing for me. A small channel as I am, with my few Cities Skylines videos, it's still an unbelievable number. And as I said before my exams, that this is gonna be my year and all that. Now that I hit the 1000 subscriber mark, I'm still planning out the tiny little special for that, which also will be the introduction for everything that comes after that. But more on that later, because I still have to do some planning and get some new things I need. So for now, let's just concentrate on Cities Skylines, and actually what are we doing in this episode? Now I already mentioned that this is another filler episode, so basically it's just houses again. And in this episode we go deeper into the big village behind the city itself, or behind the downtown, so to say. And in reality, here is the valley of the river Bila. I don't know how we are going to call this river in our city here. So we are in the same valley as we have been in the last episode of the hospital. And now we placing houses and all that in the village. I would say the most characteristic thing about this village is, about this valley, is that it's defined by the train tracks that go through it. And here I'm working on those train tracks. For now they are 2 train tracks. Later I changed that to only 1, because this is not an important line that goes here. It's just a minor rail line, so to say. So 1 track is enough, and you see it doesn't even have overhead wires, so only diesel trains can go here. Yet still I wanted it to be like that, because we have the 2 main train lines, however, on this map. The one alongside the main river, the Veda, and we have the new built fast high-speed train track, which I Originally wanted to do in this episode, but when I browsed through the workshop, I noticed, nah, it doesn't really, there's not enough stuff for a realistic high-speed rail line. So I think, again, I have to do that myself, as if I wouldn't have too much stuff already I want to do, but that shouldn't bother you. And yeah, as this is a pretty, let's say, dense valley maybe, or narrow valley, the houses are on or have different elevations, so everything we do in this valley is on 3 different elevation levels, maybe like terraces or so. We have the lowest one here with the church and some other buildings in the future, or in this episode, later in this episode, that's on the same height as the small river here. Then a little bit higher is the train, or are the train tracks, and then a little bit higher are other houses. And in the beginning I had a few problems building that, because I had to start from nothing and kind of, I don't know, find the right elevation levels, maybe something like that, I guess. Yeah, might fit, sorry. And yeah, but in the end, I was surprised how realistic and authentic it looks, because this time I built it from, or this time might be wrong, I built that after the real valley that is here, as I said, the valley of the river Bila, which also has these, where the houses also have these terraces or elevation levels. And yeah, it was kinda a bit hard, but in the end, as I said, I was quite satisfied. Now here, talking about what I'm actually doing on the screen, I'm building a church with a graveyard. Nothing that special, I guess. And you see that the church, or the small chapel, maybe just, is a bit raised above the valley floor. And I did that because I originally, or in the beginning, I wanted to have a somewhat bigger church, but again, there wasn't a church and I didn't have time to do my own for that. So I cheated a bit and placed this small chapel by Thomas 13th, if I'm not wrong, on a small hill, or on a small elevation, to still have the let's say, to have the appearance of a bigger church. And I think that worked quite well. And what I'm doing here is maybe the grave of an important person. Maybe that was the mayor who initiated the expansion of the city into that valley. Whatever, something like that might be possible. And I also tried to build a small stop or halt into this valley at the end of the at the end of the area we are building in this episode. So the area we are building is about the size of, from the hospital to the railway intersection over the street thing. Man, I think sometimes I maybe should look for some words. Doesn't matter. The intersection we did in the second episode, if I'm not wrong, with the small house next to it. And and on this intersection I tried to build a small halt, a small station with just a tiny little platform, but I don't know, that didn't really work. We might do that in the future, but for now, that's I don't know. It just didn't work in this location over there. So yeah, and when it's about the general, I don't know, feeling of that area here, it's just houses. And because we are somewhat outside of the city, I didn't want to use Faintbuild's houses because they would be too dense, maybe you could say it. So I used my cube houses, which have a more open feeling to them. Because, well, being honest, that was the reason why they were built in real life. Because the mayors, the city officials, whatever, didn't want the dense populations like in most cities, but a more open living area or whatever. So that's what I did here. And now here that I'm editing this asphalt road on the uppermost layer of this valley. I don't know if he watches my series, I actually don't think so, but thanks to Arnold J. Wimmer, who did this asphalt road, which is perfect for this purpose here. Because, or reason for that is that this is a more, it's not an important road, it's just a road to connect the houses to the outside world. And I just drove through such a road yesterday, I think. Was it yesterday? No, the day before yesterday. And so I actually noticed that in the village that there isn't even a sidewalk, there's just an asphalt road, which is a bit run down and damaged. And of course I had to recreate this here. And it turned out pretty nice, I think. With this warehouse and motorcycle shop here, I wasn't, in the beginning I wasn't sure what to do there. But then it kind of came into me that I just could do some motorcycle reseller. So maybe here they buy motorcycles, they repair them, and then they rebuy them. Which is a small kind of shop area or shop, or a small kind of shop that is pretty common in areas like this. And here, what I'm doing here is I'm using again Arnold J. Wimmer's curbs, or what I did there is using his curbs to do a cable canal thing. Because as I said, this is a pretty minor train track, or a minor train line that goes here. That maybe even has old signals, so no modern light signals, but old signals that don't have lights, but a mechanic version of showing the train driver if he may go or not, if you can follow me, sorry. And these cable canals are the cables to those signals. In German they are called form signals. Maybe that's also the English term. Let's just hope so, okay? And here is what I said, that I do the road in a bit rundown way, which I think turned out pretty good in the overall look of this valley. And now with this school, we are doing the third big project of this episode, which is the high school of our town. Or maybe we'll need another high school in the future, but for now, this is the high school. And because the sports area of this school was just too small, I yeah, I'm hiding it with probable gravel and build my own one next to it in just a few seconds. And yeah, for that I in the beginning tried to use some sport field areas from the workshop, but they all were too big for this area here for this school. So again, I had to improvise and build my own. Yeah, here I'm using just a few of Faint-Built's houses to kinda show that, well, this is the end of the inner town with just a few of these densely populated houses, and what begins here is the outer town, so to say, with a more open building. Or with a more open arrangement of buildings with my cube houses. And yes, what I'm doing here is the sports area of the school, and I was kinda, well, surprised how long 100 meters are. So 100 meters is the running track for the sports or PE lessons, which German schools have, or I think most schools in the world have 100 meters as running distance. And because that's not enough, I also added a small jump sand box. So when you, for jumping, that you land in this sandbox and not on the ground. Sorry, my English, you know it. And of course, we're in a German school, so I have to do a football field. And yes, most German schools have a football field. And when I'm doing that, that might be a kind of a bit embarrassing, but I didn't know how all the lines on the football field are. So I had to use another one from the workshop to, know what all these lines are and where they are. But yeah, I think it turned out okay-ish. Besides this circle in the middle, which is a bit edgy, I guess. But that was my mistake, using the big fade lines and not the small ones, but nobody saw it. And yeah, fencing this area off, or this sports area off, by a big fence to avoid balls from the football field that land on the yard, or in the yard of the residential area over there, which would be pretty bad, I think. So it's a ball fence. Yeah. And here I'm just doing what I really like, some, let's call it rundown areas. So the area around the sport field is, well, the whole school is not the newest one and maybe would need a renovation. And to kind of show that, the whole sports area is a bit overgrown with grass, and here I'm placing all those grass tufts. Yeah, I think also that turned out pretty good. And when I look to the time, I see we are coming to the end of this episode, because I'm not doing much more. I actually cut out quite a bit to decrease render and upload time. Sorry for that. But the most things I do from now on are things you already know, meaning backyards. And some people mentioned that they like the way how I do backyards, and well, yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, I think I showed it often enough that I can allow it to cut a few of those out. So for now, let me say thank you for watching this episode. It was a pleasure. Not really to cut it, but to build it was actually really funny. Funnier than I expected in the beginning, because the motivation of all those filler episodes is not that high. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked it, please, like it. Please comment if you have any suggestions or critique. Feel free to write it in the comments. If you are new to my channel, consider subscribing and hit the tiny little bell icon. That way you get notified whenever I upload a new video, which might be important in the future. And yeah, a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon who still help me or support me in creating my assets and videos, which is really appreciated. And yeah, I think that's it from my side. Have a nice time, take care of yourselves. We'll see us again in the next episode, and have fun with some nice cinematics at the end of this episode, and bye.